Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
That's right.
Dr. Umar Johnson.
Peace and love. Peace and love, family. All is well. Glad to be back.
Now let's get right to it, man. In light of everything that's going on, what are the solutions? I think we've discussed the problem so much. What are the solutions?
All right. Before I state the solution, I have to challenge you on that. Because although we talk about the problems a lot of people don't understand how the problem operates. Let me give you an example. Take miseducation.
Okay.
People know the children aren't learning. They know black boys are not graduating. They know special ed is an issue. They know ADHD is a problem. But they don't know how this operates. They don't understand how the child goes from the classroom into the special education system.
Okay.
So they have to be taught how it operates. You follow? So we understand that police genocide is a problem in the black community. We understand that structural inequality, disproportionality, i.e. racism is a problem. But do we understand how racism operates? So I think that once you understand how the problem operates and manifests itself, you're now in a position to solve it. Someone comes to me for therapy. Before I do any therapy, what I do, a clinical history. Is there depression in your family? Have you been depressed before? Have you ever contemplated suicide? So I have to understand your background and how you've been living your life in order to solve your current everyday problems. So now, coming to the present, what we're seeing going on around the country, let's be honest. Africans were brought to America to serve. We're no longer necessary for the American economic order to operate. They don't need us.
Right here. I'm going to stop the video right there. The whole interview. I'm sure you've seen it before. Somebody emailed me and actually, cash apped me some money to do this video. So this is more of a request video. I didn't have this video planned. And I watched the entire 50 minutes. He did not give one solution and one agenda. Just basic Umar talk, and I'm going to go ahead and just cut to the chase and give you my 10 solutions and 10 agenda items, because Umar didn't give, he just explained what racism is, how it worked, but never the solutions to any of these particular issues that we face. So first off, the first solution to black issues, black problems in America, i.e. police brutality, inequality, not having access to capital, is first off, stop praying. It sounds crazy, but black people need to stop praying. I'm not saying don't believe in God. I'm not saying that. I'm very careful with my words. I actually have to write notes. You can hear my book to make sure nobody can twist my words like a pretzel. I'm going to go very slow and concise. I don't mean stop praying to the point where you don't put any action behind your prayer. Faith without works is dead. You got to put in some work. But it doesn't hurt you to pray. Even Muslims pray 5 times a day, but they get off their ass and they go to work. Okay? They're putting action to the work. I mean, stop praying in the sense that praying alone won't get you out of this. Okay? Number 2, get a passport. Okay? Several black people are worldwide citizens of the world, if you may. I have a friend of mine that's living in Ireland right now, and he says I can say they're having the time of their lives, but they're not having any of this quarantine stuff going on in Ireland, not to the effect that Italy has. Also, it doesn't make you any less of an American citizen to just, start your roots somewhere else. It don't make you a sellout or Uncle Tom to start, a life somewhere outside of Africa. Okay, the Asians have pretty much taken over Africa. That's a no-brainer. Number 3 rather, step up your Second Amendment game. Black people are for some odd reason, afraid to own weapons. There's plenty of black groups that function just like the NRA, only that they don't have the same lobby and strength and longevity that the NRA has as it relates to paying off politicians, having lobbies fighting for automatic weapons and things of that nature, background checks, so on and so forth. So now also, black people, number 4, you need to have a political action committee. The exact same way, basically a PAC. We need to start a PAC that actually covets both Democrats and Republicans, okay? Black people as a whole, and that's the one thing Umar did say in his last interview, not this one, but the one before this one, or the one after this one, was that black people are wholeheartedly whoring themselves out for the Democrat Party. and it's blue first, no matter who the person is, without any plan of action. We have sold out everything we've ever had just for a bunch of promises, but not plans of action. Okay, so we need to start our political action committee. Number 5, no begging, no marching, and no peaceful protests. You cannot go to any politician to get any legislation passed if you don't go there to negotiate from a position of power. Okay, you want our votes. Okay, that's all fine and well. What are we getting in return for those votes outside of a photo op? Okay. Number 6 is prioritize financial literacy in your family. Take the time to teach your children. And my ex-fiance's dad did it for her and her 3 brothers. That they all had credit cards. They all had a credit history. By the time they were 18 years old, these kids had money in the bank. And the family, they were more or less, weirdos, but still, as far as them having their money game down, this family sat together, not every Sunday, but every other, Sunday of the month. They would get together and plot out a plan of action for these kids. By the time they got out of high school, they had a whole line of credit history already built up. Okay. And they knew how to build credit. That's the number one thing that's going to save you in this country is having access to capital and being on a path to build wealth if you start from a child. Okay. Now this is kind of weird, but it's kind of done everywhere else. It's to start a neighborhood Facebook page. I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why social media runs everything now, and a lot of us live in neighborhoods where we are not connected to our neighbors. We may live next door to the neighbor. We may live in a whole neighborhood, but with a Facebook page for your neighborhood, it becomes a community. And how do I say that? Because now, let's say my neighborhood was called Cabrini Green, which is not. But let's say if I live in Cabrini Green, I'm the neighborhood watch, person or what have you. And all of the concerned citizens who live in the neighborhood, we all get somebody to be the administrator of that Facebook page. So that way, if Mama so-and-so is a retired school teacher, guess what? Mama Brown is giving classes. She's giving tutoring classes Saturday and Sunday. Okay, or she's helping out with homework on the weekend at the local playground. Well, guess what? You may not know who she is, but through Facebook, you found that out. Okay, I live in a neighborhood right now. We have 18 streets, 7 main streets, and like a bunch of other little, side streets, and one long main street lead to a school in the back. So in our neighborhood, I think I know 20 people, but there's a sign in front of Mama Brown's house that says the name of the Facebook page. With that particular sign being in her ground, because the sign is by the school, the neighborhood school. So everybody who goes to that school all know each other now via that sign in the ground. It puts everybody in a position to know who Pookie and Ray Ray is, who to watch out for. Okay. And you also get to find out what everybody in the neighborhood does for a living. We have tax preparers in the neighborhood because you don't really want nobody in your business knocking on your door, but they can send you an inbox and say, "Look here, bro, I've seen your profile. I realize you do wiring. Your brother is a plumber." You see what I'm saying? You network. Okay. Number 8, utilize the what if and why strategy when thinking of ways to get legislation passed. For example, what if we did this? Well, why would we do that? Because this, that, and the third. Well, why wouldn't it work? Because you don't have enough money. Okay, well, what if we went to this person and got money? Okay, you see what I'm saying? So what if and why is a good way of having a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You keep on going and going and going, and you bring a certain handicap into the situation. And if you're planning out something with your brother, your aunt, your cousin, even your own little group, you can always say, well, what if we linked up with the Nation of Islam? Well, that won't work. Why? Because they're Muslim. Well, we're Baptist. Well, why wouldn't it work? And you just keep on going until you iron out the wrinkles. Okay. Also, number 9, you do follow through. Whatever plan you come up with, you have to have a plan of follow through. Like I said, with the family bank, or with the having with the financial literacy, with number 6. When you prioritize financial literacy, you have to have a follow through with every plan of action that you have. You actually have to have an actual conclusion, okay, to any plan of action. That way you're not just going aimless without no end in sight. Okay, you have to have like a breaking point. Number 10, people have always said this, but you have to establish and follow a code of conduct. Everybody has it. The Jews have a code of conduct. Hispanics got a code of conduct. In Little Italy, there's a code of conduct. In Chinatown, there's a code of conduct. All right, now those are the solutions. Give me a second. I'm drinking. All right, now let's go to the agenda. Okay, now the agendas are, you have to partner up with other like-minded groups. There are several groups like the Hispanic Liberation Front. They got La Raza. You have the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. They may all be, from Puerto Rico, Cuba, Mexico, I don't know, anywhere, Colombia. They may all speak Spanish, but from all different backgrounds, but they all have the same outcome, the same unity of action. Okay, they want a safe place to raise their family. Okay, and with strength, there's numbers. So you'll have certain churches that'll link up, and they'll basically partner up, and it's a merger of sorts. So the agenda is to partner up with certain like-minded groups that want that has the same mission statement as yours. Y'all may come from different economic, social backgrounds, but y'all still have the same mission in mind, and it's always strength and numbers. Also, this fucking screen here. I gotta excuse me for a second. Okay, yeah. So also you have number 2 is to leave all the egos and emotions at the door. That's the biggest issue I've ever noticed when I've ever tried to join any kind of group, neighborhood, associations, or what have you. There's always somebody that wants to be the damn chief. Okay? So put all that shit aside and leave all of your emotions at the door. Number 3, push for mandatory drug testing for all officer-involved shootings, and more importantly, stay on those police's ass and get those police out of those schools. Okay, because too many grown-ass men are body slamming and beating kids' ass, and you got to put together a group, like I said, with agenda number 1. Get all those parental groups together, speak to the Fraternal Order of Police, and ride their ass till they change the the plan of action, how they handle kids on the school property. Okay, number 4 rather, you gotta push for an end to mandatory minimums. That's the one thing that people don't seem to have a grasp of how dangerous mandatory minimums are when you getting sentenced for a crime. You have a 25-year mandatory minimum, and nobody in America seems to think nothing's wrong with that. Or it's not going to happen to me, so I don't really worry about the mandatory minimums. But you know who those mandatory minimums mostly affect. Okay, so don't forget. Remove the prison industrial complex. That's number 5. Okay, in other words, it's where the private prisons are making money. I mean, hand over fist, because they're using prison labor. Okay, that's what I mean by the prison industrial complex. Of course, that's the mandatory minimum in the school to prison pipeline. When I was a young man, there was something called reform schools. Reform schools don't exist no more. They want you to come out of jail a better criminal than you went in jail. Okay, as somebody that's just paying their debt to society. Okay, you need to root out number 6 is to root out all the civilians and recruit the warrior class. What I mean by that is, in certain groups, in Nation of Islam, African Liberation Front, Marcus Garvey movement, you have the people that actually have no problem being sign makers, hustling money. But within those groups, you're going to have to find those who are the warriors, who actually don't really mind going up to the police station and getting in the police ass and raising trouble. The political agitators, if you will. For some reason, the gays, the lesbians, the weirdos, and Black Lives Matter, that's warrior class. For some reason, when it comes down to something weird as that, they'll get in the streets and cause trouble. Okay? For a gay issue, but for a black issue, no. So whatever your group is, you need to find those who actually are willing to walk the walk and talk the talk when the time comes to do so. Okay? Now, number 7, nobody should have to say this. Agenda number 7 is people really need to understand the importance of life insurance. I can't begin to tell you how many times I done had a Pookie or a Ray Ray done got killed in the neighborhood, and they have the mama on Facebook saying, come buy a fish plate so we can raise money to bury him. Okay? Get life insurance that leaves you enough money, okay, to where your kids can build something once you're gone. Okay, you may not be able to give them any wealth in life, but you can leave them something in debt. Okay, number 8 is to establish a family bank. Super easy to do. Asians do it, Spanish guys do it, everybody else does it. The way it's done is I have an Ethiopian friend that I met. He's a taxi driver right now, and he was telling me the way they do it is they have like a little once a month meeting at a hotel lobby. They rent like one of the little hotel lobby room things out. And all these guys do is they come, they bring somebody's always like the person who's the designated food person. You bring a little tray of food, wine, and whatever else Ethiopians eat or what have you. And they just have food and they just discuss like PowerPoints. We want to buy that corner store. We want to buy that. And what they do is each particular family partner up with another family. He says, I met one taxi cab driver. He's a pretty cool guy from the same part of Ethiopia I'm from. We're both from Addis Ababa. And we want to open up that store, that laundromat. And they just, on a monthly basis, they make it their priority to sit down and discuss who has the most money and how much money is going to start to invest in a certain business. Number 9, if your church doesn't give microloans, leave. It is not illegal for a church to give money, whether you guys know it or not. This coronavirus thing is 100% proof. Your church can give you money. Instead of waiting on Trump, the church can give you $1,000 cash. Whether they can't they can't charge you interest, but the churches can finance your business. They can just up and give you money. Dirty preachers do it all the time. They can give Creflo Dollar $45 million for a plane. They can give you, a couple of grand if you're a faithful member of that church who been paying tithes all these years. You have skin in the game. Okay. Number 10, don't be afraid to relocate. Okay. Think about it. When corporations are looking for have an application process, they're looking for the best recruits, and they always ask you, "Are you willing to relocate?" Meaning that if the business is looking to get bigger, vis-a-vis you needing a passport or you needing to just get up off your ass and go to another state. There's so much. My brother's wife, they done moved to 4 different states because she is like one of the top people with the hotel chain they work with. They done been to Arkansas, Florida, I think Arkansas, Florida, somewhere else, and now they landed in Dallas, Texas. I mean, yeah, they're in Houston. So, what I'm saying? Don't be scared to relocate. You can always get up and go move and start, and just be somewhere, be better somewhere else. If there's no jobs in New Orleans, get the fuck up and leave. That's what happened to this guy. I never forget. A dude came to the one of these little meetings we was having. He was saying at the end of the day, when there's a family reunion, you have family members that come from all over the world, all over the country sometimes, and ask them, what's it like where you live at? Well, I live in California. Well, what's it like though? I work at the Ford plant. Are they hiring? Well, I can get you a job. It's a 12-hour shift. Or what? I'm not going to leave New Orleans. I want the gumbo. I want the fried fish. I ain't leaving New Orleans. There's no gumbo and live music. I'm going to stay there. New Orleans has a horrible economy. Okay. I'm kind of like what they call grandfathered in. So I'm stuck here. My whole business is designed around, the French Quarter. So, I have assets here. But if push came to shove, I would have to up and leave and go do something somewhere else. And I'm not afraid to. So you always have to have it in your mind to, that it doesn't make you any less of a simp or a punk to just call it quits and just pick your family up and uproot them and go somewhere else. But I watched this whole Umar Johnson video, bro. He gave no plausible agenda items or no plausible solutions to the school to prison pipeline. I hope that what I offered in this video gives you some direction. Okay, I pointed you in the right direction. If you at a crossroads in your life right now. More importantly, I would say if I had to suggest anything, listen to Dr. John Henry Clark. Definitely get the 5-book package from Dr. Claude Anderson. Okay, Powernomics, Dirty Little Secrets, Black Labor, White Wealth. Anyway, guys, hit like, share, and subscribe. Holla back.